Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans.
The fact that it took the president 2 days to come out and clearly denounce racists and white supremacists is shameful. And I think he finally spoke out because people everywhere stood up and said something.
I didn't wait long. Why? I didn't wait long. I didn't wait long. I wanted to make sure, unlike most politicians, that what I said was correct, not make a quick statement. The statement I made on Saturday, the first statement, was a fine statement.
Let's go back. Let's take a look at the president's original comments on all of this. This all happened before a madman plowed into a group of people with his car. Here's what President Trump tweeted, quote, "We all must be united and condemn all that hate stands for. There's no place for this kind of violence in America. Let's come together as one."
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence. It has no place in America. And then I went on from there.
The president also said, "We must remember this truth. No matter our color, creed, religion, or political party, we are all Americans first."
If you're looking for the roots of why white supremacists and neo-Nazis felt emboldened to march on a college town, you don't have to look very far from the White House.
But you don't make statements that direct unless you know the fact. It takes a little while to get the facts. You still don't know the facts.
We have a racist as a president because a man that cannot stand up and condemn the Ku Klux Klan and Nazism is a racist.
You still don't know the facts.
He was a coward. He didn't have the spine to behave like the leader of the United States, and I feel that to be shameful. He's not only unfit to be president. In my book, his lack of empathy, his lack of leadership, his lack of courage, he's unfit to be human.
You still don't know the facts.
Even after a few hours to think about it, the best he could do was squeeze in this response before a bill signing.
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. On many sides.
Wait, on many sides? This was a white nationalist rally. You have to call that out by name.
Here's the thing. When I make a statement, I like to be correct. I want the facts. This event just happened. In fact, a lot of the event didn't even happen yet as we were speaking. This event just happened. Before I make a statement, I need the facts. So I don't want to rush into a statement. So making the statement when I made it was excellent.
Many sides? Mr. President, this is terrorism, not your order at KFC.
You still don't know the facts. I want to make sure, when I make a statement, that the statement is correct. And there was no way of making a correct statement that early. I had to see the facts, unlike a lot of reporters.
Nazis were there.
I didn't know David Duke was there. I wanted to see the facts. And the facts, as they started coming out, were very well stated. In fact, everybody said his statement was beautiful. If he would have made it sooner, that would have been good. I couldn't have made it sooner because I didn't know all of the facts. Frankly, people still don't know all of the facts.
After 2 days of intense public pressure, today the president was finally willing to say that Nazis are bad.
How can you possibly say you condemn this in the strongest possible terms when you don't even name the groups responsible?
Trump has a permanent hard-on for condemnation. And yet when it came time to condemn white supremacists and Nazis, it was limp city.
It was very important to me to get the facts out and correctly, because if I would have made a fast statement, and the first statement was made without knowing much other than what we were seeing. The second statement was made after, with knowledge, with great knowledge. There's still things that people don't know. I want to make a statement with knowledge. I wanted to know the facts. What about the alt-left that came charging at the, as you say, the alt-right? Do they have any semblance of guilt? Let me ask you this. What about the fact they came charging with clubs in their hands, swinging clubs? Do they have any problem? I think they do. I watched those very closely, much more closely than you people watched it. And you have you had a group on one side that was bad, and you had a group on the other side that was also very violent. And nobody wants to say that, but I'll say it right now. You had a group on the other side that came charging in without a permit, and they were very, very violent.
They don't want to mention Antifa and how Antifa literally came trained, militarized, doing warlike maneuvers. You know, they bring coolers and you think, oh, it's to stay hydrated. No, it's filled with water balloons, filled with feces, urine, just disgusting things that will pop and explode on people. And water bottles filled with the same substances.
The reason why I believe it is quote unquote liberal or leftist media that is inciting a civil war and trying to start a coup against our president, our elected president, Donald Trump. George Soros is behind a lot of that, and Antifa is behind a lot of the violence.
Are you putting what you're calling the alt-left and white supremacists on the same moral plane?
I'm not putting anybody on a moral plane. What I'm saying is this. You had a group on one side and you had a group on the other, and they came at each other with clubs, and it was vicious, and it was horrible, and it was a horrible thing to watch. But there is another side. There was a group on this side, you can call them the left, or you've just called them the left, that came violently attacking the other group. So you can say what you want, but that's the way it is.
Chill out. Stop filming it. I don't like being filmed. Then leave.
Yeah, he just got struck with pepper spray by some irrational... Not a liberal helping him. We're not all like this. No, you see, the guy that attacked him is not a liberal. He's a Marxist.
I've condemned neo-Nazis. I've condemned many different groups, but not all of those people were neo-Nazis, believe me. Not all of those people were white supremacists by any stretch. You had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists, okay? And the press has treated them absolutely unfairly. Now, in the other group also, you had some fine people, but you also had troublemakers, and you see them come with the black outfits and with the helmets and with the baseball bats. You had a lot of bad people in the other group too.
Every time one of these situations happens, you know, you see the worst of people sometimes. I think we saw it out of the left.
Obama and I both share some responsibility here. I mean, I embraced alt-right racist. Obama was black. We both contributed to the problem in our own way.
You know, and the liberal media couldn't control themselves. They couldn't resist the opportunity to somehow turn this on President Trump. I was proud of the original statement. He knows, the president, you have to be measured, you have to be calm. You want to calm the waters, you want to be thoughtful in your initial statement because it's early on and you don't have all the facts and you don't want to speak out of hand. Then over the weekend, as he learned more facts, he came out today and reiterated what he said in even some more forceful terms. I was proud of the way he handled that.
He never said to white nationalists explicitly, and if he did, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I don't think he did, he never said, I don't want your support. Don't vote for me. I don't think he did. I was there every day. What he didn't do is say that he was not going to accept the support of any of these fringe groups.
Donald Trump refusing to condemn former Ku Klux Klan Grand Wizard David Duke.
If he said on Friday, I disavow, why ask him again on Saturday?
Why not disavow David Duke, disavow the KKK? What's going on?
You are fake news. Fake news.
This is Donald Trump. Over the years, something the Destroy Trump media will never show you. Condemning Duke, white supremacists. Look.
What are your views on the Ku Klux Klan and white supremacists?
I totally disavow the Ku Klux Klan. I totally disavow David Duke. I've been doing it now for 2 weeks. You're probably about the 18th person that's asked me the question. I didn't even know he endorsed me. David Duke endorsed me? Okay. All right. I disavow.
David Duke announced his Senate candidacy, claiming your agenda for his own, or essentially saying, glad that you spoke out.
Are you ready before you ask the question?
Newt Gingrich said, every Republican should repudiate this guy no matter what it takes.
And I do. Rebuked. Is that okay? Rebuked.
Rebuked.
Done. I've rejected David Duke. I've rejected the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. From the time I'm 5 years old, I rejected them.
David Duke is a bad person who I disavowed on numerous occasions over the years.
What do you see as the biggest problem with the Reform Party right now?
Well, you've got David Duke just joined, a bigot, a racist, a problem. I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party.
I'm saying to myself, how many times do I have to continue to disavow people? And the question was asked about David Duke and various groups.
When I put out that I reject KKK and David Duke, nobody picks it up. You know why they don't? Because they don't want to pick it up.
I disavowed him on Friday. I disavowed him right after that because I thought if there was any question, and you take a look at Twitter, almost immediately after on Twitter and Facebook, they were disavowed again. I disavowed him every time I speak to somebody virtually, and, they just keep it going. They keep it going.
I don't like any group of hate. Hate groups are not for me. But I've said this before. The press hates me to say it. They just don't want to pick it up.
So are you prepared right now to make a clear and unequivocal statement renouncing the support of all white supremacists?
Of course I am.
And what is the response from Trump haters in the face of this undeniable fact? Stephen Colbert sums it up.
I say red baseball caps mean you're an ass.
This is what we continue to deal with, though, is the globalists wanting to balkanize the country, promoting racism, promoting racial division, promoting that whites are inherently evil, the opposite of what Martin Luther King said. Don't judge folks off what color they are, but off how they act and what they do. Well, let's listen to Martin Luther King when he says that, because you go out and you go to one of these events and you neutrally sit there and watch what people in black outfits with masks beating people up, pepper spraying them, hitting them in the head with bike locks, you name it, are doing. And it is simply incredible. They continue to attack over and over and over again. And when they assaulted a female and male reporter for InfoWars, the police laughed about it and said, now this is an unlawful assembly. You can't come through here. You got to go right through there with a bunch of fences and the police marching them right in to cause the confrontation so CNN could have the headline, white supremacist, white nationalist, cause violence, when you can call the white nationalists misled, idiot, racist, just like the Antifa people. But you cannot sit there and say that they initiated the violence when clearly you watch any of the films, it's Antifa doing it, not just there, but all over the country. I decry the racist elements that set up this event and that went there, walking right into a trap with the mayor, who's a known Democratic Party operative, 80+% voted for Hillary Clinton. The police marched them in, said you can demonstrate here, kettled them in, and then laughed. We have video of this, of our reporters being pepper sprayed in the face and the police laughing about it. Americans are sick of the deception. They're sick of the spin. They're tired of the lies. Most Americans watched Trump's speech and heard him say we need to love each other and come together and racism is horrible. But then they see CNN saying Trump didn't decry racism. People know they're being lied to. You may get some idiot white students to go lead, mobs of minorities believing they're battling the evil KKK. And you may get scared whites, to actually become more racist and join the other side and to have these moronic clashes. But the general public, regardless of what color they are understanding that the globalists are exploiting human populations everywhere. All of us need to understand this was orchestrated. The facts are in. The videos are posted unedited to Infowars.com. Hours of it. Our reporters were witnesses to it. The police were ordered to stand down. They told our reporters they were. They allowed the Antifa to attack peaceful reporters, not just the white nationalists and other groups that were there. But the bigger issue is this. They're now branding the alt-right, Hillary created that term, as anybody that opposes the establishment, and then taking one little rally that only part of it was actually white supremacist, and then implying that if you demonstrate or stand up for American sovereignty or against the Democrats or against Soros, you're a racist. This attempt to guilt Americans into giving up their sovereignty, giving up their liberty, giving up our free market, or will be called racist, will fail, just as it's been failing over and over again. Because the Democratic Party, CNN, MSNBC, anyone that opposes them, they call racist. And they don't even show proof when they say it. And people are sick of this, and they're angry about it. And they're not going to be whipped into submission. Humanity is coming together, And that's the message we need to understand here. And that's the message that Donald Trump put out.